Oh, Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve.
Trooper Proctor, you've indicated that your sister is one of your best friends, maybe your best friend.
Yes.
Courtney Proctor, that's her name?
Did your brother ever talk to you about things that weren't in the public?
No, he never gave us details about that investigation. He doesn't give us any details about any investigation.
You wrote the word homicide, is that right?
Yes.
You were describing to your sister the nature of the case that you are now assigned, is that right?
Correct.
She wrote the Canton thing is a homicide?
Did your brother ever talk to you about things that weren't in the public?
No.
And you wrote, don't say a word to anyone, correct?
Correct.
And then she wrote, of course not, isn't that right?
Yes.
He never gave us details about that investigation. He doesn't give us any details about any investigation.
You were describing to your sister the nature of the case that you are now assigned. And then you wrote what?
In the very least, it's suspicious.
So at that time, at least at the time that you wrote that text on the 29th at 3:05 in the afternoon, you believed that the case was suspicious.
He might have said some stuff that was coming out on the news, but it was the day that something would come out. So no, he never gave us details about that investigation. He doesn't give us any details about any investigation.
You don't deny, Trooper Proctor, that you were routinely disclosing to your sister pretty intimate details about the investigation, correct?
I wouldn't say intimate. I'd say newsworthy stuff or just generic, nothing too specific.
He might have said some stuff that was coming out on the news.
Newsworthy, would you have gone to the news at this point in the investigation? Would you have gone to the news and said, Julie and Chris were at the bar, I gotta go interview them?
Objection.
Allow that. Is that what you do, Trooper?
No, I would not do that, sir.
He might have said some stuff that was coming out on the news. He never gave us details about that investigation. He doesn't give us any details about any investigation.
So it's not newsworthy. These were details, internal details about the investigation, weren't they?
Yes.
And you were sharing them with your sister, Courtney Proctor, correct?
Correct.
And Courtney Proctor's best friend is Jillian Daniels.
Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gon' make me go all out. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gon' make me act a fool.
And one of her closest friends is Julie Albert, right? Sergeant Buchnick.
Sergeant Buchanan.
How do I say it?
Bukaki.
Correct.
Did you ever pass any information about the investigation to those families, the people that were in the house?
Absolutely not.
A couple of minutes later, 3:07 on January 29th, you told your sister, quote, Julie and Chris were at the bar with the victim and girlfriend. Got to interview them. Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely not. No.
Then on February 1st, 2022, your sister texts you that she's actually meeting with Julie Albert, didn't she?
Yes.
And that was before you ever interviewed Julie.
There would be no information to pass, and I would never do that.
You were describing to your sister the nature of the case that you are now assigned. Is that right?
Correct.
She wrote the Canton thing is a homicide, and you wrote, don't say a word to anyone.
There would be no information to pass, and I would never do that.
Then before you ever interviewed Julie, your sister informed you that Julie actually wanted to get you a gift for your participation on this case, correct?
Yes.
How did you feel, though, when you were put in that role of being an intermediary? When the defense made that allegation?
I was shocked.
Trooper Proctor, after your interview with Julie Albert, your sister, Courtney, texted you, how did it go at Julie's? She was so nervous. You recall that?
Yes.
In fact, you responded to that with a ha, 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 ha. 4 ha's, right? And then why? Question mark, correct?
Correct.
Then you responded, it was fine. Just a quick convo, correct?
Yes.
You were literally reporting back to your sister about the progress of your investigation in a homicide investigation, weren't you?
I think it was such an overstretch of trying to pin relationships or create these relationships that just didn't exist. My relationship with the Alberts is through my friend Jillian, whose sister married one of the Alberts.
Do you deny that you were very close with Courtney Proctor?
No.
Okay. You talk regularly, correct?
Yes.
And so my relationship with the Alberts is several degrees removed anyways.
Also talk by phone.
Very rarely.
Is it fair to, did you say very rarely?
And so my relationship with the Alberts is several degrees removed anyways.
Are you aware that between February 1st of 2022 and September 6th of 2022, you and Courtney Proctor spoke by phone 67 times?
It was like being friendly to my sister's friend type of thing.
Did you provide childcare for Courtney Proctor's children?
Yes.
How often did you watch her children?
2 days a week.
And that's all that it was. And for that to be applied differently, it was just really hard to not want to yell and scream and say, that is completely untrue.
Oh, way down we go. So way